Welcome back to the Ergo Proxy Retrospective. And for this episode, we will discuss Pino, the young autorev and for all intents and purposes adopted daughter of Vincent and Re-L. Now Pino is a sort of supporting character, but though a child, is actually very important to the show for a variety of reasons. Before we explore these reasons though, who is Pino? Pino is the companion motto auto-rave belonging to Raul Creed and his wife. While Raul seems genuinely attached to Pino, passing on his love of piano and music, his wife, maybe not so much. She seems indifferent to her, and when she and Raul are given a child, even question Pino's worth and if she has cognitovirus or not. While Vincent says she does not, Pino's mother still seems detached, and her detachment is shown by the fact she seems to turn off her Turing, that is emotional, functions from time to time. After Vincent clears Pino of having cognito though, she remains with her family until the Monad Mall attack, which kills both her mother and her brother. From here it appears she may have got cognito and wanders off to the secret exit used by infected autorevs. Along the way, she meets Vincent and quickly endeavors to help him and be a good friend. In fact, she's actually the one who saves him by opening the airlock and being flushed out with him. Once in the commune, she starts to stick with Vincent, and the kind Vincent cannot help but do his best to guide and protect her. She finds her iconic melodica here as well, and befriends this young boy. In the commune, she starts to learn how to be human and accepts to express her emotions and soul. At first, she still seems kind of mechanical, and this is shown through the fact that she randomly answers questions with long numbers and mathematically, she's very ambidextrous, and the fact that she can't draw new images, i.e. she doesn't quite have creativity yet. As the series progresses though, she starts to be more and more human and grows quite close to Vincent, who becomes a sort of father or big brother to her. Like a real child, she starts to imitate those around her, and from here, these imitations lessen and she becomes more of herself, learning what does and doesn't work for her. We can see that this is especially true after the arrival of Re-L. At first, the two seem ambivalent towards each other, but as time progresses, the two start to grow closer and closer, and even save each other. When the group returns to Romdo, Pino seems to stay outside for a bit, although she can't help but be curious about what's going on inside. Braving the burning dome, she inadvertently grants her father's dying request to see her before he passes, and she meets Christina, who returns her melodica to her, which she had lost, and helps her escape. Now on the Senzon, she rescues Re-L, and the two head to pick up Vincent. With her role explained, we now ask, what does Pino do? To start, with the literal tasks, and as mentioned by others, in many episodes, Pino serves as a sort of white rabbit. She leads Vincent and Re-L to discover something or make a helpful observation. She leads Vincent to the airlocks at the beginning of the series. She leads both him and Vincent to the caves where they see the failed humans. She observes that Ophelia is a shapeshifter in the Ophelia Dome, and many other things. Many times, she serves to spark both the curiosity of the cast and the viewer. She does more than this, though. Her greatest task, and indeed performance, is humanizing most of the cast, and bringing a warm human dimension to the show that would not be present otherwise. All of this is quite ironic, seeing as that she's an android. Her humanizing task is done in two ways that we'll explore, and both of which are critical to the show. These two ways are her personal growth and her interactions with others. Starting with her own growth, Pino's growth into a real child is well documented in the series. She starts off as a sort of pre-programmed imitation child, something meant to imitate, but something that isn't quite the real thing. After her infection with cogito begins though, she starts from this base and slowly evolves. This evolution can be seen in her drawings. At first, she's ambidextrous and draws extremely fast and precisely, like a robot. However, like a robot, she lacks the ability of creativity, and can only make recreations of pictures she has already seen. As the series progresses though, she starts to grow left-handed, like Vincent, and by the end of the series, learns how to draw on her own, i.e. from her own creative impulses, her own soul. While these drawings may not look so advanced as some of her earlier works, they actually show a great deal of personal and human growth. She has gained a soul and humanity. This is why these look like childlike drawings, as opposed to the drawings of, say, a printer. This growth also extends into both her interactions with others and her views of herself. Again, at first she starts as something programmed to be friendly, something nice but not quite real. As she explores the world with Vincent though, she starts to express the full spectrum of emotions, as she comes across different situations which provoke different feelings. The first critical step on this journey is learning what sad is in the commune. While she doesn't like it at first, she learns to accept it, and learns that if one must be happy, sometimes they must also be sad. Later on, she also learns emotions of frustration, joy, confusion, pain, anger, fear, love, courage, and many others, all by imitating and learning from her role models of Vincent and later Re-L. In the beginning of the series, she seems nice but oddly detached, not quite empathetic. By the end though, she's fully human and genuinely empathetic. She serves as kind of a rock for both Vincent and Re-L, a sort of warming presence to help them get through with their journey, and she teaches those around her to value the others around them. as she herself has now learned to value those around her on a deep emotional level. All of this growth is best summarized by Pino herself, who says that even though having a soul comes with sad and angry and scared, it also comes with joy and courage and curiosity and happiness. Having a soul makes her happy, and she accepts that even if it comes at the cost of occasional negative emotions and pain and hardships, it is worth it, because in the end it makes her happy, and she can be happy. And this leads to her interactions with others, and how she humanizes most of the cast and the show itself. Realistically and basically, as a child in a very dangerous and resource-poor world, Pino at first may seem like a burden. She is curious and tends to wander off, and doesn't necessarily bring too much material stuff to the team. However, her endearing nature, warm presence, and the fact that she's helpful from time to time validate her presence. And the fact that others go out of their way to protect her shows that they are in fact good people, and this is how she humanizes a lot of the cast. Her presence serves to show the beginnings of Vincent's evolution, for example. At the start of the series, he seems like a complete coward with no real redeeming traits. However, one of the first validating things he does to prove otherwise is protect Pino from scout drones in the commune. From here, the interactions of the two show just how kind and empathetic a man Vincent really is. Their father-daughter relationship shows that Vincent is a kind, caring man, in addition to being a super powerful proxy. It shows that he is more than one-dimensional and that he is human too, with a soft and caring side. He is not a monster. On the topic of fathers, Pino also humanizes her dad, R.L., who it is shown genuinely cared for her and enjoyed teaching her things like piano. While R.L. is a cold and ruthless man throughout much of the series, his lingering thoughts on her shows that he is still a bit human, and his final request to see her, before he passes, cements him as someone who is simply trying to get over the loss of his family. Finally, this brings us to Re-L. At first, Re-L sees auto-revs as simply tools, nothing near human, and a bit annoying from time to time. She even goes as far as to call Pino useless in her first interactions with her. With Iggy's death, though, and living with Pino for a while, Re-L's vision is expanded, and she becomes a much more empathetic woman. She goes from calling Pino useless to actively trying to rescue her to being rescued by Pino herself. While Pino is learning empathy, she also teaches Re-L all about it, and that's Pino's greatest purpose. As she learns to be human, she helps the cast learn to reconnect to their humanity as well, both through simple human interactions and genuine questions. She in turn lightens both the character of the cast and the mood of the show by quite a bit. As a whole, she shows that there is still hope, and her presence as a child shows that life still goes on. The idea of life going on is another key thing that Pino brings to the table. While the rest of the cast consists of adults who have either reached what they're going to do with their life, i.e. like Daedalus or Raw, or are just kind of getting by or need to do something very important and pressing, like say Re-L or Vincent, Pino is a child, and she still has a world of possibilities open to her. Her character growth and presence are kind of the show's greatest affirmation of the power of life and the fact that it will always go on. While a character like Daedalus serves as a nihilistic influence to say, hey, everything is doomed, who cares, nothing's gonna go anywhere, why are we even trying? Pino's presence does the exact opposite. Her growth and happiness, even in the face of such overwhelming odds, even as a child, show that life does go on, and it will find a way. Her bright character brightens the message of the show, and it helps convey the show's greatest message, which is the idea that humanity will endure, and that humanity can overcome with sufficient character growth. As mentioned in Raul's video, character growth alone will not overcome the entirety of the world. It will, however, though, help someone get through the hard parts of life and endure. Her growth as a real human girl shows that humanity will continue to evolve and grow with the world around it, and that this process may not necessarily need be painful or dark all the time. Pino's character itself is actually very bright, and this shows that growth is something to be treasured. Even though she does affirm that it does come with pain and negative emotions sometimes, she also affirms that it is always worth it. She affirms that the human spirit can in some cases be undefeatable, and can in many cases overcome great external odds. She affirms that there is a good will to life, and that life must go on, as it is the will of all living creatures to continue living. She affirms that that is a beautiful process as well, shown by the fact that even though her world seems completely grave and destitute, she still has a happy family life with her new adopted family. She shows truly that life will go on, and that life itself is beautiful.